Hiya folks, it's Jocelyn. Today we have a very different video for you. I'm so excited to be hosting one of the collaborative efforts that we have for the Latinxathon. There are so many wonderful Latinx creators and so many wonderful Latinx books to talk about all the time that it would be impossible for our little readathon to do all of them. So last year, for the very first time, we enlisted the help of others and we asked other Latinx creators to share some of their favorite reads written by Latinx authors. This was originally inspired by Sajid over at Books Are My Social Life, because they did the same thing with Muslim creators recommending Muslim books. And we love that idea so much. We're so happy to be doing this a second year in a row and to have even more new faces and more new books to talk with you all about. So the short of it is, this isn't really my video today. This is actually going to be part 2 of a series. Yesterday, a video was posted on Yvette's channel, today it's on my channel, and tomorrow it's on Tasha's. We really wanted to make sure these videos were a little bit shorter, but that we were still reaching out to a bunch of people, so we did end up splitting it up, and I'm so excited to watch the other ones. Both of those videos, as well as the playlist of all of the Latinx books recommended throughout the years for Latinxathon, will be down below. I'll also have the playlist up above if you'd like to click on that. But I think that's enough preamble. Let's hear from these other creators. Their information will also be in the description. Please check out these other channels. Some of them are smaller, some of them are newer, and I'm so glad that we're able to connect with so many other Latinx creators. Anyway, enjoy!
Hello everyone, my name is Luli Hernandez and I have a channel here on YouTube where I talk about books, spirituality, and just lifestyle things. I'm a Cuban American college student and I live in Miami, Florida, where there is a ton of Hispanic culture and it is so great. So I'm going to talk about 2 actually Latinx reads that I am obsessed with, that I love, I talk about on my channel all the time. And it is Next Year in Havana and When We Left Cuba by Chanel Cleedon. I'm going to talk about this one first really quickly. So this book is about a Cuban American woman living in Miami like myself, and her grandmother passes away. Her grandmother's only wish was to have her ashes spread on Cuban land, and now her granddaughter is unraveling the secrets of her grandmother and her grandmother's family, and it is so great. I felt so heard reading this book and I cannot wait to reread it. Now for When We Left Cuba, this is kind of like a companion novel to Next Year in Havana. This follows one of the grandmother's sisters back when they had to leave Cuba because of Fidel Castro. So this one's a little bit more fun because we get to see the main character Beatrice get wrapped up in the CIA and their plan to take down Fidel, and it's just amazing. This one was a lot more action-packed, but I loved it just the same, and the energy of the Cuban women in this story is phenomenal. So these were my 2 recommendations for Latinx reads. I hope you guys will pick them up. Thank you so much to the creators of the Latinx Readathon for letting me participate in this. I've never really gotten to do anything like this before, so this is really special to me. Hope to see you on my channel. Bye, estrellas.
Hi everyone, my name is Rocio and my channel name is Rocio Reads. So before my recommendation, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am Dominican American. I was born in the United States, but from a very young age, I lived in Dominican Republic until the age of 12. As you can see from my accent, I did not know English when I came. It was very hard for me to learn English, but I have learned to accept my accent and just embrace who I am. The book that I want to recommend to you today is actually a book that I've studied when I was living in Dominican Republic because it's part of Dominican history. The book that I'm going to recommend is In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. This book basically follows 3 sisters from when they were young and then growing up in the era of Trujillo. If you don't know what Trujillo was a dictator who reigned Dominican Republic for a couple of decades. His ideology was based around making Dominican Republic white. Along with being a racist and a murderer, Trujillo was also a pedophile who preyed on younger girls who were virgins and took them away from their family. He was just an all-around horrible person. In the Time of the Butterflies follows the girls as they grew up through a series of events that leads them to join a revolution against Trujillo and, along with their husbands, lead the revolution. If I had to summarize this book into a few sentences, I would describe it as a heartbreaking yet inspiring and just moving story about three sisters who grew up in a politically oppressed country and basically became a symbol of defiance, hope, and freedom, known as La Mariposas. I would say that Julia Alvarez did her best in trying to get these girls' stories and write them in a way that is compelling. It just captures your attention and forces you to read about these girls' stories because they deserve to be read. So I think you should definitely check out In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. If you end up reading it, you should definitely check out In the Time of the Butterflies, the movie featuring Salma Hayek, I think, and Mark Anthony, and it's a very good film. Keep reading and stay safe.
Hi, my name is Ariana and I have a booktube channel named Bookish Rican MB. I was tapped to do a recommendation for Latinxathon and I thought that I would recommend a book that a lot of people probably have never heard of, and it could have gotten a lot more credit and a lot more shine than it did. It's actually a really good story. It's a YA fantasy named All of Us with Wings by Michelle Ruiz Keel. And it's a story about Shochi, who runs away from home after being abandoned by her mother. She becomes a governess for Palace, who is the daughter of a rock star. They live in this home with people from different backgrounds who are a part of the rock band that Palace's father is a part of. Now, all of these people, they are a part of a found family. She becomes a part of the found family and kind of becomes a part of the daily existence of everyone in the house. Palace and Shochi end up at one of the parties that the band is throwing, end up summoning these water babies from the other realm, and these water babies start to exact revenge against the people who have hurt Shochi. Eventually, she has to reconcile with her mother, who has also run away to San Francisco, and work towards healing with her in order for the water babies to return to where they came from. I really like this book. Some people don't. Some people think that it's graphic. I do have to give you some trigger warnings. It does contain instances of rape and abuse, and also underage drinking and drug use. But other than that, I think that the story is a great story to tell. I think that the characters are well thought out, and I think that it would be a great read for those who want to read it. And that is my recommendation. I am out.
Hello, I'm Angela and my channel is Literature Science Alliance, and I want to thank Jocelyn from Yogi with a Book for inviting me to be a part of this. I am a Venezuelan American booktuber, and I'm here to tell you one of my favorite Latinx books today. I don't know if this is necessarily my favorite, but it's one that I don't think gets talked a lot about, and I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention, and I also think it represents who I am as a reader, and that is The Assimilated Cuban's Guide to Quantum Santeria by Carlos Hernandez. And this is a wonderful collection of science fiction short stories that have this wonderful fusion of different Cuban and Puerto Rican cultures within these sci-fi stories, which I personally just found very refreshing. On their own, they are just really interesting and compelling stories if you're interested in diving into science fiction or into science fiction short stories. But I really enjoyed the inclusion of certain cultures that I just don't see in my science fiction reading on a whole. Like I said, I'm Venezuelan, so obviously I can't speak to the Cuban or Puerto Rican representation I saw here, but there were definitely moments where I'm like, I did that with my family. Like, I felt very connected. For example, if you live in America and you go visit your family, so when I visit my family in Venezuela, we bring all the suitcases, all the things, and that was in one of these stories. There actually was one that really resonated with me because I am a piano player. I have learned how to play piano for a long time, and one of the pieces that I have spent hours and hours of my life playing is the Fantasy Impromptu by Chopin, which is the title of one of the short stories in this collection, and it was so well done, and that will always stick with me. So I know this author is known more for his middle grade duology. I think it's a duology. There's at least 2 books out in it. I think it's Sal and Gabby Break the Universe. But I really loved this short story collection, and hopefully it's on your radar now. It is accessible through ebooks, and I got it from my library. So, if you're ever looking for a taste of science fiction and science fiction with very fun Latinx cultural representation, this is my recommendation. So yeah, and if you want to hear more sci-fi fantasy thoughts from me, you can check me out at Literature Science Alliance. Sometimes I also try to explain the science behind some magic in books, and it's just a fun time. Thanks again for listening, and thanks again for including me in this recommendation video.
Hi everyone, I want to just say, number one, thank you for the Latinxathon for reaching out to me. It's so important to me as a Latinx woman to just participate in these kinds of things, and I am really excited to recommend a book to you guys. I'm kind of cheating because I have 2 books. One of them is a Latinx classic, and that is Chronicle of a Death Foretold by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, or Crónica de una Muerte Anunciada by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Now, this story is so amazing, and a lot of people had to read it in high school, and it's one of those stories that just kind of stays with you and that you want to read over and over again. This tells the story of Santiago Nazar, and everybody in town knows that Santiago Nazar is gonna get killed. That is not a spoiler, that is literally within the first chapter. But the thing is, Santiago doesn't know it himself, and it's kind of like a dream-like thing where you follow everyone in town, and people treat him like a ghost, people treat him like he's not even like really there, because is he really there when he's about to die? So that's my first book, but I also wanted to bring out this book called Latinx Rising, and this is edited by Matthew David Goodwin, and the introduction is by Frederick Luis Almada. Now, why do I want to bring up this book? It's because I feel there is such a sense of disconnect between science fiction and Latinx writing, and this book is just packed full of Latinx science fiction and fantasy. So I think that both of these books are definitely worth your time, and something that I wanted to highlight within the Latinx community. And once again, thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this. I'm very proud of my heritage, and I hope that whatever books we pick up, we remember the importance of being Latin, and that we raise our voices, because our voices deserve to be heard just as loud as anyone else's. Thank you so much, and well, have a good one.
Hi, this is Candy from Latinx Magic, and I am Rainbow on Twitter and Instagram. And my favorite book by a Latinx author is La Vecina by Romina Garber. This is a YA fantasy following undocumented Argentinian immigrant Manu finding out about an entire new world, magical world in Miami. It's a coming-of-age story, a coming to power and your own voice and yourself. And I love the way that is all about Argentina and celebrating Argentina myths and culture and language and food, while also calling out the homophobia and misogyny of the country. I love the way this book talks about immigration. I love the characters. I love the world building that feels so magical and just like home. There is all the small things that make the world building that I just simply adore. Like they use their magic to cook asado, which is like Argentinian barbecue. It just filled my heart with love. The Sun is such a wonderful book with great characters and an incredible world building, and it's just so good. So Stan Lovisona and Manu Azul this year.
Hola y bienvenidos. My name is LatiNext. I am the creator of Colorfully Bookish over on YouTube as well as on Instagram, and you can find me at colorfullybookish.com. I was asked to recommend a Latinx book, and this one I feel like truly embodies what it means to be Latinx. It truly shows and shares how different all of our experiences can be, but at the same time how beautiful it is to be Latinx. And this book is called The BreakBeat Poets Volume 4, Latinxathon, edited by Felicia Rose Chavez, Jose Olivares, and Willy Perdomo. This is a collection of poetry. It has 60 contributors, 60 poets, and I just think that's absolutely brilliant. We need books like this out in the universe, and I truly believe this needs more attention. It was so beautifully written, and every contributor, every poet did such an amazing job. They truly poured their heart and soul into this collection, and I feel like you should add this to your TBR. What a wonderful way to get an understanding of the Latinx experience. I hope that you add it to your TBR and that you enjoy it, and that you have an amazing Latinxathon as well as Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month. There are so many things in store, so many amazing things to be a part of, and I hope you have an amazing time. Muchos besos y cuídense.
All right, that's it for today. As I mentioned before, Yvette's video is already up. Tomorrow, Tasha's video will be up, so make sure that you watch all 3 of these to get all of the recommendations. We have 1 week and counting until Latinxathon starts, so make sure if you haven't already to also follow our Twitter, follow our Instagram, and please check out all of the creators who shared clips here so that you can see more from them on their own channels. But anyways, that's going to be it for here today. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm so excited for everyone who's going to be participating in Latinxathon with us next week. And I'll be back with another video shortly. Bye!